Well, ladies and gentlemen, you find me outside the town hall again, where the crowds are going to begin gathering in a moment. Come back after this and we'll tell you why. Today's video is sponsored by Heart of the Tribe Gallery, where art meets community. More about that later. So, ladies and gentlemen, the reason I'm here today is because we're celebrating the life of Alan Gloak, who was a councillor in this town and was around for many years and liked by an awful lot of people. He gave us Glastonbury in bloom. He gave us the Frost Fair. What a legacy. So today they're going to unveil his plaque, and his family, some of his family members are here, and we're just going to celebrate the life of one of the town's great people. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming, and I think you all know why we are here. And I think you all know, much better than I do, he who we are remembering today, Alan Gloak. Alan Gloak was a town councillor, a mayor, a free man, and one of the elders, I think, of Glastonbury. He died very sadly last year, but we just felt he had to be remembered in some way, and this is how we are doing it today. His list of accomplishments and gifts to the town is long and varied. He started Glastonbury in bloom, which is today celebrating, I think, his 25th anniversary, and last year had triumph, was one of the finalists in Britain in bloom. It's a great legacy for Alan and one we are very grateful for. He also started the Frost Fair, which is coming up in a couple of months' time and will be, I'm sure, as wonderful as ever. But I think more than ever, Alan was much loved in town by many people, and that's why we're here today. I personally didn't know him very well. I was always slightly in awe of him and never got to be a friend rather than an admirer, if you see what I mean. However, I went to his funeral a few months ago at St John's Church, and it was very clear to me that Alan had generated so many memories and stories by so many people. He is clearly somebody who will be remembered in our hearts in all sorts of ways, both serious and not so serious. He was what you might say a larger than life character. I wish I'd known him better, but that opportunity sadly has now passed. What we're here today to do is unveil a plaque in his memory. Before we do that, I'd like to invite his niece to say a few words herself.
Thank you all for coming. My uncle was very loved by all of you, and he did love this town very much. And yes, he started Glastonbury in bloom, helped get that to where we are today. Prior to coming to Glastonbury, he lived in London, and he was the chair of the Brighton, Kensington and Chelsea flower show and London in bloom. So when they moved here, trying to establish a flower and a community that was growing the flowers and part of that to make it so much that it is today, was the forefront of all his thoughts. He very much was a man that would give to the town rather than take from the town. And for that, I think a lot of us are grateful. But one of the great stories, because he did love to tell stories, one of the great stories was when he was the mayor of Glastonbury, and he'd bought a Land Rover, which he had a big water tank on, and he was going around so he could water all the hanging baskets. And on the day of Glastonbury in bloom judging, the community police officer came to him and said, "Oh, Mr. Gloak, when are the judges going to be here?" And he said, "Oh, about 12:30. "Brilliant," said the police officer, "gives you a bit more time for a bit of weeding." He said, "No, the plants look lovely, you don't need to do any weeding." He went, "No, you need to do some weeding. Get rid of the weed before the judges turn up." So he fills a bag and he goes home, and he's got this bag, and as he walks through the door, his partner Colin says to him, "What's in that bag, Alan?" He went, "Pot, cannabis, weed." He said, "Well, what are you going to do with it?" "I'll put it in the compost heap." "No, you can't have that. It has seed all over the garden." Can you imagine the headlines? Mayor of Glastonbury, cultivating cannabis. He says, "All right then, I'll burn it." And Colin goes, "Can you imagine the headlines?" So he goes, "Okay, what am I going to do with this bag of weed?" He flushed it down the toilet. The local plumber who came to unblock the toilet was apparently pretty much unfazed by the fact that there was a load of cannabis down the toilet. But that's just one of many of the stories that Alan did here. You know, I think a lot of people will remember the sheep when he did his sheep run, and they went into boots and couldn't get out of boots. And I think that's really lovely. So today we're here to remember him, and this is a day of celebration of what he's done for the town. So my daughter, his great niece, is now going to unveil the plaque for you all to see. Thank you so much, and thank you to the Town Council for actually organising this. It means a lot to his friends and his family, definitely does. He will be saying to us now, what's all the fuss about? But secretly, he'll be chuffed, really chuffed. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So on behalf of the Town Council, I'm delighted to participate in the chuffing of Alan Gloak. Yes, thank you so much for coming, and may that remain here for many years to come.
Well, there you go. As the piper prepares to play, that's the end of the service. Revealing the plaque to Alan Gloak there behind us. Much loved in the town. Hello.